if you guys are new here, I'm Mimi and welcome to my channel. So as you can tell by the title, I decided to do how I found out that I was pregnant. Let's see, I need to like get it in my mind so that way if I miss stuff, I'll like go back to it. And also if you hear my son talking or crying in the background, just, don't mind him. Sorry about that. Okay, let's get to it. Well, let me start from the beginning. So, the way beginning. So, when I was about 9 years old, this might be a little TMI for any male viewers. So, I'm just letting you guys know it might be a little TMI. But when I was 9 years old, I started my monthly cycle. At the end of a sentence, period. But anyways, yeah, I started, and ever since I was 9 years old, I was always heavy. I was always heavy. It would last up to I'll say like 2 weeks. I know one time it lasted up to 3 months. And there were a few times where I went to school and our uniforms, I only wore like navy blue, and I tried to wear these black ones. Like, we weren't allowed to wear black, but I wore black and played a dumb that, they're navy blue. But they were actually black. And I always wore those when, it was my time of the month. And reason for that is because since I was always so heavy, like it would just go through by the time I got to second period. Like, it was so embarrassing. Hopefully, I'm thinking that nobody noticed, and I hope nobody did, because if they did, that's pretty messed up, because they never even told me that it went through. And I never even saw like my friends between classes, like the friends that I hung out with, I never saw them between classes, so it's not like they could have told me. I'm pretty sure, like, they were really good friends, so I'm pretty sure they would have told me, or at least maybe 2 or 3 of them would have told me. But because as you get older, you find out that the friends that you thought were good friends are not good friends. But that's for another video. Anyways, I went to the doctor, and they decided to put me on birth control pills. So they put me on birth control pills, and they actually put me on birth control pills probably when I was like 10, and that's when I was still in elementary school. But the reason why I still got my periods so bad is because sometimes I wouldn't receive my pills on time, or just something happens, so it just would come out. Was it that? Yeah, I think it was that. So yeah, so since I have been on birth control pills since I was like 10, I was on birth control pills all the way up till I want to say 19. Yeah, I'm pretty sure 19. So 9 years. When I was 19, oh no, yeah, no. Sorry. I think I was 19. Yeah, I was 19. So, so when I was 19, like when I had just turned 19, I had heard like on Facebook, like I was scrolling through Facebook, and I had heard on Facebook that birth control pills have actually been the cause of women not being able to get pregnant. So when I heard that, I was just like, great. I've been on birth control pills for 9 years. I'm not gonna be able to have kids. And me, I never really liked kids. I liked kids, I did not like kids like in a way where I'm gonna be mean to them and stuff like that. No. But I just never really wanted to take care of kids. I never wanted to deal with kids. Like, my mom always babysat kids, and she would ask me to like watch them for like 2 seconds, and I'd be like, I don't want to. But I would do it anyways. So, but just the thought, like, I still wanted a big family. I wanted a lot of kids. I wanted up to 6, 7 kids because, you know, I come from a family of 3. There's 3 of us. And I feel like it's just so little, you know, like when we're gonna be much older by ourselves, you know, throwing like a Christmas party or something, it's just gonna be us 3 and our kids, you know. So I feel like that's like so little. And then my mom, she has like, including herself, there's a total of them 5. And when we do parties, like, you know, it's fun. There's a lot of us, and there we have a lot of cousins, so, you know, it's more of us, so it's more to entertain us, I guess you can say. So that's what I wanted. I wanted a really big family. But no, at that point I was like, great, you know, I'm gonna just have to think of adopting or fostering, which that's okay, you know, like I can save another kid's life. I'll love it like if it's my own. So yeah, that happened. And because I thought I couldn't get pregnant, I got with my baby's dad, and I even told him myself, I was like, you know, if you're gonna want kids later, like, I don't think I will be able to be the girl to give you kids. And he's like, well, why not? And then I explained to him how the birth control pills, you know, they basically ruin a girl and stuff like that. And he's like, I don't think so. And I was all like, no, it's true. I think I ruined my body. Like, I was so certain. And he was all like, basically, I bet you didn't or whatever. And I was like, you can't tell me like about my life. Like, you don't know my life before you came in. Like, you can't do that. You know, like, we were joking, obviously, like we were laughing. But yeah, and so he was all like, so are you for sure that you can't have kids? And I was like, no. And I was like, and he was like, okay, well, that's fine, you know, I'm fine with adopting, I'm done with fostering, you know. He was fine with all of that. More adopting though, because fostering, it's gonna suck if like you get attached to that kid and like, you know, they just one day knock on your door and be like, hey, kid's gotta come with me, you know, like that sucks. So he was more towards adopting. So I was like, okay, that's a good thing then. So, you know, time went by. We were protecting ourselves, but we weren't protecting ourselves enough, if that makes sense. And then one day I was late on my time of the month, and I told him, I was like, you know, I'm late. And he was like, do you think you're pregnant? And I was like, I don't know. He's like, well, let's buy a test. I'll buy a test after work and you'll take it. And I was like, okay. So he goes to work, you know, day goes by, he comes home. He's like, here's the test or whatever. So I take the test, and, you know, I think like 3 minutes passed, and I was like, you know, like, it's gonna come out negative. Like, there's no point. So I start, you know, wiping myself, start putting on my pants, and I just look away from it, and he's like, babe. And I was like, what? And he's like, it's positive. I was like, you're lying. Like, I don't believe you. You're always lying. Because my boyfriend, he plays a lot of jokes on me. But he was like, I swear, look. So I look, and I was like, oh my gosh. Well, you know what? Since it took so long, I was like, this is a bad test. It took so long that it's a bad test. So it's most likely wrong. And he's like, well, what if it's right? And I was like, look, like, this happens a lot. Tests say that it comes out positive, and then you go to the doctors, and the doctors say, like, are you sure you're pregnant? Because it's coming out negative here, you know. So I didn't believe it, especially since it took so long. So then I was like, you know what, I'll just go to the clinic, I'll do a walk-in pregnancy test, and I'll find out there. And he was like, okay, when are you gonna go? And I was like, I'm gonna go tomorrow. And he was all like, you're gonna go by yourself? And I was like, yeah, I don't want to go with my mom. Like, I'm scared. Like, I'm barely 19 years old. And then, which I guess in other girls' experiences, that's not that bad. But you know me, I did not like kids, so I was scared. So the next morning, he gets ready, he goes to work. As he goes to work, I drive to the clinic, and my mom. This is so bad. And my mom thought that I was at school because I was in college at the time, and so it was, it was pretty easy just to go to the doctor by myself. So I go to the doctor. I tell them, I'm here to do a walk-in pregnancy test. They say okay. They take me to the room. They give me a cup. I pee in the cup, and then they get it, and then they take it. So I sat in that room. It felt like maybe 10 minutes, but I doubt it was 10 minutes of a wait because, it was a small clinic. But anyways, I remember them walking in that room and saying, "You're pregnant." And after that, everything just went blank. Like, I couldn't hear what they were saying. I just kept nodding my head, and I was just like, like right there and then I was like, I wish I had my mom with me, because now I don't know what to do. Like, now I'm frozen. So they leave the room. I sit there, and they're like, "You can follow me, I'll walk you out." And I was like, okay. So I get up, I walk out, they say congratulations. I'm like, like with a fake smile, because I'm like panicking over it now. So then I go outside, I go to my car, I sit in my car, and I just cry. So many tears was coming down my eyes. Like, I was so scared. I was shaking, and I just remember telling my baby, "Don't worry, I'm gonna be here for you. I know there's a lot of thoughts going through my head, but I'm gonna be a good mom. I may not know how to be a mom, but I'm gonna be a good mom. I'm gonna know how to do this. I'm gonna be here for you. I'm not gonna leave you. I'm gonna love you." I was just having like a one-on-one conversation with my baby, and I was just crying and crying and crying. And then I lived with my sister at the time, so I went to my sister's house, and I just stayed home. I was crying and crying. My sister wasn't there, so she didn't know. She was actually at work. And then I was like, I need to tell my mom. So I drive to my mom's house, and I'm like, so I got something. Well, right when I get there, I'm like, "Hey mom, can I have some of your beans? Like, that smells good." I'm surprised she didn't catch it right away, because I never liked beans. When I was little, I hated beans. I hated meat. Like, I'm a very picky eater. And when I got in there, I was like, "That smells good. What is that?" And she's like, "Oh, it's beans." And I was like, "Can I have some?" So she serves me a plate of beans. I'm eating it or whatever. And I was like, "Can we go to your room?" And she's like, "Yeah." So we go to her room. And I had the paper that says "You're pregnant" in my back pocket. And I was like, "There's something I need to show you." And she's like, "What?" I pull out the paper in my back pocket. I hand it to her. She starts reading it, and she's like, "You're pregnant." And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Mimi, are you serious?" And she's like, "Who's the dad?" And I was like, "Really? Like, that's what you're gonna ask?" Like, right there, I got mad. I was like, "That's what you're gonna ask? Who's the dad? Who do you think's the dad?" The guy. I didn't say that, but I did got mad. I did give her that look, and I was like, "Well, the guy I'm with." And she's like, "Mimi, are you serious?" Like, she started going on and on. Like, "You don't even know how to take care of yourself. You don't even know how to take care of a baby. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, I can't be there all the time. I can't be there to help you. Like, you're gonna have to learn this by yourself." She started going off on me, and I started crying. I was like, "Mom, I know. Like, I'm already thinking of that. I'm scared." And then she just took a breath, I guess, and she was just like, "You know what? Okay, come here." She gives me a hug. And she's like, "Well, now we need to tell your sister." So I was like, I don't want to. So we drive to my sister's house, and I do the same thing. My mom goes, "Your sister has something to tell you." So then I hand her the paper. She's sitting on the couch. I'm standing up, and she goes, "You're pregnant?" And like, I nod my head. I nod my head yes, and I smile. And like, well, not smile, but like kind of like a side smile, like. And she throws the paper on the couch. She gets up and she leaves. And I was like, wow. And my mom was like, do you want to stay here or do you want to go back to my house? And she was like, does he know yet? And I was like, no, he doesn't. And she was like, well, you need to tell him. Do you want me to go with you to tell him? And I was like, no, I want to do this by myself. And she was like, okay. So she's like, be careful. So I drive to his house. I go in there. I hand him the paper. And he looks at the paper. He looks up at me and he smiles and he goes, we're going to be parents. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, oh my gosh. And like, he hugs me. And you know, that's pretty much it. He hugs me and he says, like, I told you you can get pregnant. And I was like, yeah, I guess I can. Like, this is crazy. I can't believe it's true, you know. Like, throughout my entire pregnancy with my daughter, I didn't want to know what we were having. He kept wanting to find out what we were having, and I was like, nope, nope, nope. Like, I wanted it to be a surprise. But my entire pregnancy, I was depressed. I was angry. I was so mean. Like, I was so depressed because I was thinking, like, what am I doing? Like, I'm pregnant and I don't even know how to take care of a kid. Like, I never liked kids. I never took care of kids. Like, how am I gonna be able to take care of mine? Not only that, but basically for my entire life, how am I gonna take care of this kid? Like, how? Like, you know. But bless you, God bless you. But you know, mother instincts tends to kick in right away. It kicks in right when that baby is born, because now I'm like, you know, I got this. Like, you know, like, my kids are good. And now, moving on to my son. My son, when I was pregnant, we did find out what we were having. And we did it because he wanted to. You know, I chose the first one to not find out till, you know, she came out. And he really wanted to find out what we were having. And so I was like, you know, like, we'll find out, but let's do a gender reveal. And he was like, okay. So he was okay with that. And I'll actually post that video too, like, of our gender reveal. It was really good. But anyways, how I found out that I was pregnant with him, he was actually planned. Like, before we got pregnant, he kept asking me, like, let's have another kid. Like, it's already been 2 years. And I was like, no, I don't want to, because my first kid, I had a C-section, and the doctor said I had to wait 2 years to basically try to have another baby vaginal. So that's what I wanted to do. And he's like, it's already been like a year and a half. And sorry, I said 2 years. It's been a year and a half. And then I was like, yeah, but what if we had to wait 2 years? So he made me call my doctor to ask them how long I have to wait. So I told them, you know, do I have to wait till like 2 years, or can I get pregnant at 1.5 years and then, you know, be pregnant, my daughter's 2 years old, wait a couple months, and then have the baby at 2 years and, like, let's say 2 months. And they're like, yeah, you can do it that way, like, you'll be fine. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I hung up and I was like, if we have another baby, you gotta know that it's gonna be 2 kids to take care of. Like, it's gonna get a lot harder. Like, we think it's hard now, like, it's gonna get a lot harder. And he was like, yeah, I'm ready for it. So I'm like, okay, let's try it. So, you know, we try, fail, try, fail, try, fail. I don't even know how many pregnancy tests I took. I even walked into a clinic maybe 3 times. They all came back negative. I took so many tests and I was like, okay, what's going on? Like, I started panicking then. I was like, oh my gosh, like, the pregnancy, the birth control pills, like, kicked in. Like, they messed up my insides. I can't get pregnant anymore. You know, that's ridiculous to think of because I wasn't even on birth control pills then. But I was like, I can't get pregnant or whatever. So then he tells me at work, he's like, you know what? Try this last test. And I was like, no, it's going to come out negative. There's no point in wasting another test. And he was like, no, I have a really good feeling on this one. Just try this test. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll try it. So I try it. And, you know, so I peed on the test. I put it down. And I didn't even well, no, actually, yeah, I did. So I like wiped myself, and then I look at the test. It said positive. I jump up, not having any bottoms. I like jump on my boyfriend. Like we're just hugging. We're like, we're gonna have another kid. We're gonna have another kid. Like we got so happy. And then I was like, we gotta tell my mom. And he was like, no. I was like, we gotta tell our moms. And he was like, no, like let's just wait a while. And I was like, no, we have to tell them because my stomach's gonna start hurting. I'm gonna start craving stuff. I'm already showing. But and then and he was like, all right, we'll go tomorrow. So the next day we went. We had 2 pregnancy tests. Well, first I went to a clinic, came out positive, walked out, had a one-on-one conversation with my son. I wasn't crying this time, but yeah. And then that pregnancy test, they gave it to me. So we had the pregnancy test from the clinic and then the pregnancy test from, doing it at home. So we go to his mom's house. We put both pregnancies like in a box. One box was like the box of like a Galaxy or an iPhone, and then the other box it was like a watch box, because there were so we hand my mom the watch box, we hand his mom the phone box, and we're like 1, 2, 3, open it. They open it, and like they're like, you're gonna have another kid, and we're all like, yeah, I'm pregnant. And they're like, oh my gosh. So like, they're like, congratulations, how do you guys feel, and this and that. And we're just like, we feel good. And yeah, that's pretty much the story. I missed out on my brother's reaction and my sister's reaction on the second baby. But I will explain that in another video because it's a really long video. But yeah, that is how I found out that I was pregnant. So anyways, thanks for clicking this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Turn on the notifications so that way you get a notification when I post. And leave a comment down below. Let me know if you want me, well, basically any suggestions on videos that you would like me to do. And like this video. Alright, see you guys next time. Bye.